Okay, so it's Sunday morning, and I did a Sunday morning breakfast video last week, and so I thought I'd try to do another one. This time it's going to be cheese pandesal. If you've never had that, you're going to see it this time. Cheese pandesal with some Filipino style corned beef hash and an egg. We're going to see how that goes. Okay, so I'm going to try to leave all the background noise of the Philippines in this video, and I'll try to make some corned beef hash first of all. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and smash my garlic. And one thing I like to do, probably most of you know this, but see that little thing right there? And it won't work this time, but I usually just grab it like that, and it'll pull, 9 times out of 10, it'll pull the whole thing off. And it probably didn't. Yeah, there we go. We got it all. There you go. Piece of garlic all by itself. And then you got that little edge on there where the stem was. Set that aside. I've got that ready to chop. These little red onions are just a little bit of a challenge for me. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Okay, I decided to call an audible on this. I've got my garlic, but guess what I remembered? I have ginger. Oh my gosh, can't use ginger in there. I do have a chopped up onion. All right, forget about that. I found a little peeled onion in the refrigerator. You hear the cat in the background. You know what they call, you know how they call cats in the Philippines? If you're Filipino, you know. Or if you're Filipino, you know. But my mother-in-law, I learned this from her. She would go to call a cat, like, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. That's what we do in America, right? Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. She comes off with this. She's getting ready to call this cat. And she says, Ming, 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 M-I-N-G, M-I-N-G, repeated over and over. I thought, this lady is crazy. What the heck is she talking about? Ming, Ming. What the heck is Ming, Ming? I'm like, I don't know. I just thought it was a Nanai thing that she did. You know, she lived with us for like 3 years, and I thought she lost her mind or something. Not really, but I thought it was a little strange that she's using that for a cat. Okay, so, but come to find out, when I come to the Philippines, that's what almost everybody says. So the longer I spend in the Philippines, the less crazy that I think my mother-in-law was, because she's just repeating what other people did, what she knew all her life. And that goes back to one of my main principles: just because you don't know the reason doesn't mean there isn't one. So she called it Ming. She said Ming, Ming, Ming. And now I even do it. I kind of refer to the cat. I don't know if it has a name or not. I just call it Ming. And I'm gonna get a zero in on the cat.
You should make another video.
There's
Why the slippers are all in there outside too.
What the heck? He's got the run of the house. So anyway, back to the action-packed adventure show of cooking with Randall, cooking breakfast. So, okay, dogs and cats aside, in this camera stand, but I had a knockdown drag out. Didn't want to stand up for some reason. One of these days I'm gonna have a lot better equipment, but right now I am trying to peel this onion. And I found sometimes you just gotta take that outer layer off. I don't really need that much onion, but I got it, so. All right, my wife's kind of gave me instructions on how to make corned beef hash. Now, I know how to make corned beef hash. I make it my own way. It's kind of maybe a Western style because I'm a cowboy. No, because that's how we have it in the United States. I like to take my onion like that. I just kind of slice it. And I could go down farther. I could make some cuts there, but it's just corned beef hash. I'm not too worried about it. Nobody's grading me on this. Wow, that's a lot of onion. I just got one little can of Pure Foods corned beef hash. Okay. Yeah, we got lots of onions here. That's enough. I'm not really too worried about how I chop them. Normally I like them all the same size. My wife says that I really need to slice this thin. Am I gonna make small chunks? Fungat? Am I gonna make small chunks or just slices? Chunks or slices? Okay. She's raising her eyebrows, so. All you Filipinos know what that means. She gave me the same raised eyebrow answer to both questions. It was an either or, it wasn't a raised eyebrows type situation, but that's what I had to deal with. So, okay. I'll move this stuff over. Make room for my tomato, my tomati. I like to kind of hold it, I like to kind of keep it together. I could use a little bit sharper knife. This one's gonna work. I can feel it's really sharp about that point on the blade. So. So we had a hot day yesterday. It was really hot, but I was proud of myself. I didn't get in the air conditioning until last night when I went to bed. Not an accomplishment for most people, but it was for me. Like I said, I'm about 25 to 30 pounds I could lose and I'd be fine. But in the Philippines, a little bit of weight on you makes it seem hotter than it actually is. Got up about 93. Extreme humidity. It rained the night before, which I love the rain. It was a beautiful sound. I started kind of feeling kind of cooped up here in the Philippines because, you know, we don't have a car. And yeah, I can walk somewhere, but and my wife always wants somebody to go with me, which I understand. But I kind of like go places by myself, so I struck out the other night, and I stopped a Sikad driver, and I took video of it. I'm gonna make a video. I'll do a walking tour of my trip to the market here in Pavia. So let me continue that here just in a second. Oh, I gotta do my bawang. So I left the house. I was gonna go buy some San Mig light. I can't really tell the whole story because I want to make a video about it, but suffice to say, a Sikad driver popped up out of the neighborhood, he's cruising around on his late model Sikad. If you don't know what a Sikad is, say you're from America, you've never been here. Basically, it's an old bicycle with a sidecar on the side of it. And guys cruise around and pick up passengers and they take them places. Not very far, you know, just in town and back, basically. But that's what a Sikad is. Some people call it a pedicab. Some people call it a sling blade. No, they do not call it a sling blade. But, so yeah, I jumped on the Sikad. Dude was happy, man. He was like, first of all, he jumps out, he goes, "Do you need a ride?" And so if you've ever been kind of in the province, for a guy to speak that English that well, a little bit of a surprise to me, because I thought, like, man, I'd like to get a Sikad, but I don't want to break out in a full-on sweat just walking the market getting a few beers. Ended up getting a case, but jumped on the Sikad, and man, you guys, if you ever rode one, even if it's hot, you get on that Sikad, you're just sitting there in that little, I call it a metal basket, it's like an overgrown colander or something, and the breeze starts to move a little bit. I gave him 25 pesos. I think it was 20. He charged me 10 pesos to go into town, which wasn't far, but he had to pedal the whole way. So anyway, okay. After minor consultation with my better half, she said I need another kamati. For some reason it's being stubborn. There we go. All right, buddy, get out of there. So anyway, the guy jumps out and he speaks pretty good English. And so I got some video of riding down the street, and I held the camera out, and he's on the bicycle, big smile on his face, and I got me in the picture. So it's pretty nice little footage. He was tickled to death, and we got up to the store. Of course, it's funny being an American here, or a foreigner, I guess, of any kind, because you know you're in a Sikad, right? And everybody's just like watching you. They see you and they're smiling. Like, oh, look at that guy. Look over there. It's a foreigner, you know. So kind of like a star. No, I'm just kidding. It is funny though. They get a kick out of seeing somebody that's not from here. And there's not a lot of Americans or foreigners here that I know of. Foreigners are funny here. I've seen several, like in stores and stuff, and they'll be with their Filipino wife, and you know they're doing their deal like I am, whatever, buying hardware or whatever kind of store you're in. We was in SNR the other day. That's another video. Saw 3 or 4. I know they're Americans. I heard them talk, you know, but they just, as they say back in the U.S., they just kind of ghost you, you know. They don't even say hi. They don't say anything, you know. And you know, if you're around Filipinos, like Filipinos, and they see somebody, especially if they're in America, they see somebody else and they haven't seen a Filipino in a while. They're like, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, are you Filipino? You know, oh yeah. Well, where are you from? You know," and it goes on. I've seen it a million times. But the American expats so far are not that way. So, all right, back to the matter at hand here. I've got my Pure Foods corned beef. Easy open can. A little bit of strength. Look at all that goodness. Okay. I'm going to transfer over to the stove, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've transferred to the other side, I am going to start my little burner here and brown the garlic. One of my favorite waiters used to always say, "You know the drill." So I'm gonna put some olive oil in there for my little bit of bawang. Get my knife. Looking good. Okay. Let me check my camera to make sure it's still recording and all that good stuff. That's one thing I like, and I may have mentioned this last Sunday morning, but one thing I kind of like about cooking in the Philippines is you don't have to worry about an exhaust fan because it's open air here, right? I mean, any food odors, garlic, I don't mind the smell of garlic, onions, or anything cooking, but at least it's gonna come out, you're gonna smell the food, and then it's gonna go out of your house. So yeah, I really enjoyed my Sikad ride the other day. I ended up getting a case of San Mig Light. Sometimes in the sorry stores they don't really carry it. I think I figured out why, because when I come here, this last time, I tried Red Horse before, right? If you're Filipino, you've been here to the Philippines, whatever, you know what Red Horse is. It's like a 9%, and I may be wrong, but I'm not much wrong. It's say 7 to 9% alcohol, but it's 60 pesos per bottle. And the San Mig Light is 49 pesos per bottle. And the pale Pilsen is, I'm gonna guess it's like 39, okay? But I try to watch my calories a little bit, so I like the light, you know. And I thought, why would anybody buy Red Horse? It doesn't taste, you know, the taste is not any better. But here's what I figured out. For 60 pesos, it's about twice as strong as the San Mig Light. So if you buy it to feel the alcohol level, we'll put it that way, we'll put it nicely, then Red Horse is better bang for your buck as far as that goes. I think that's why they sell so much of it. It's a strong beer. Heard all kind of sayings about Red Horse. They say, well, the horse will kick you in the morning. Yeah, if you drink too much of it, that's absolutely right. It will dehydrate you and it won't be pretty. So I'm trying to brown my garlic here. It's already starting. That corned beef kind of looks like a mystery meat of some sort. Grab me a spoon real quick. Got my cuchara ready. You're putting in that, you're getting that corned beef out of that can with a cuchara. What would the Philippines do without bawang? Diba? It's a start of so many dishes, so many meals. I know I start with it. Love it. I like it even like, you've seen it like, people will get it brown, they'll brown it, maybe they'll fill a whole pan and brown a whole pan with it. And then they'll get it out and just let it sit on a paper towel or whatever, let it cool. And then it's just like this crispy little garlic sprinkles kind of like bacon bits or something, you know, it's in a sense. It adds flavor and crunch and texture to whatever you want to put it on. Some people just kind of take it. Sometimes they'll just, instead of making full-on sinangag and cooking the rice into it, they'll get their fresh rice and they'll sprinkle some roasted garlic, dry roasted garlic on top. So I'm not against that. Pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding my onions because I think my garlic has had enough juice already. Try to help out my garlic. Send the onion in to look for survivors on the garlic. Get that down, get it a little bit translucent. Look at that big old piece I got in there. How'd you get in there? Alright, I said I was going to leave the sounds of the Philippines here, and I hear music. Maybe it won't get too loud. If it gets too loud, I'm putting in the AirPods. So far, it's not too bad. So I had another interesting experience. This kind of alludes to another video I'm going to make again. But so I went to Pure Gold the other night, and I had to stand in line for like 40 minutes. The lady in front of me had half of her stuff unloaded on the belt. I was in the credit card line, and so I was sitting there patiently waiting. I'm not complaining about the slow service or whatever. It is what it is. And so I got all the way up there, and this lady, she was about exasperated. You could tell she's frustrated. She wasn't really showing it, but as much as a Filipina does, she was a little, took a few deep breaths, and you know, I could tell she's a little frustrated. So she got up there, she got half her stuff on the counter. And we'd seen a bunch of people kind of rushing around furiously looking at cash registers and stuff. Yeah, their credit card machine went down. So there we stood in line for 45 minutes waiting to get checked out, and all had our patience. In fact, that's the reason why I bought the cheese pandesal, because I'm sitting there in the aisle patiently waiting, and I'm looking at all these products, and they've got this product here, and baked in Iloilo City. I'm going to call it Angels or Angelica Bakery, something like that. Anyway, I'll get the name right here in a minute. And it was made right here in Iloilo City. And so I'm looking at all the products, and actually bought a couple. I bought some mango bread, which pretty good for a merienda, you know. We had it yesterday with coffee. I put a little American on it, and put a little American. I got some Smucker's strawberry jelly, and just put on that mung bean bread. It was pretty delicious. Actually, I'm glad I got stuck there in line. See, I mean, if you look around, no matter what situation you're in, you can always find a positive. And I did find a positive on that. I think I'll keep buying that. I'm going to check out some other tasty selections from Angelina's Bakery, maybe, in Iloilo City. I think my onions are good enough. I'll go ahead and put in the kamati. One afternoon in Pampanga, talking about commodities, I was sitting with a bunch of older guys, and I was actually drinking some San Miguel. They were drinking Emperador, which it's a brandy. I don't want to make a bad comment about it, but it's not an expensive brandy, I'll put it that way. Back then it was like 40 pesos per bottle, and the bottle is like your basic Tanduay rum bottle size. I think the same company bottles it or makes it, I don't know. But I'll turn up the fire, make higher the fire here. Get my kamatis a little bit translucent, a little bit soft. That's what I'm gonna try to do. All right, quit messing with them. And so anyway, I hope this camera doesn't fall. So yeah, I'm sitting around in this little group, little barcata, you know. If you know what a barcata is, I'm sorry, I gotta apologize. I just don't want to throw words out. Some people don't know, and I'm looking at my tomatoes here, but a bunch of older guys sitting around, they're drinking the Emperador, and we're having a good time, and they're maybe about a half an hour in. There's one guy sitting next to me on the left. He's got a little, we call them wife beater shirts, a little singlet, you might call it in the Philippines. Got one of those on, and he's been drinking, and every once in a while he gets a little too hot. He's got a tabo outside, you know. And again, if you don't know what a tabo is just, it's a little scoop about that big around. Every Filipino bathroom has one, and that's another story for another day. But he had a little tabo plastic scoop out there in a bucket of water, and he'd get hot. He'd just take that tabo and he'd just pour it over the top of his head and run all the way down. Everybody laugh at him, but I thought, yeah, that's one way to stay cool, you know. So imagine once his shirt got wet, he probably stayed cool for 10-15 minutes. But you know, I started this little story because of the commodities, and they're sitting there. Filipinos always want to eat some sort of snack. We'll call it a snack. If they're drinking, they got to eat a snack, and they refer to that as their pulutan. So they're eating these leaves. So I kind of asked them, you know, they're Kapampangan. They know some English, they know some Tagalog. I know very few words of Kapampangan, more Tagalog, and of course English. So I'm trying to get out of them, what are you eating, you know? And get these little green leaves, and I think they may have been dipping them in some sort of sauce, like a vinegar, soy sauce, you know. Filipinos, we call it sasawan. Anyway, they were dipping it in something. So I asked my uncle, I said, that's Uncle Bops from another video, Uncle Augusto. I said, what is that you're eating? And so he looks at the other guys and he's like, you know, what? He's trying to get a word, trying to explain to me what it is. And they're running around, you know, it's a leaf. You know, it's they're trying to make the shape of a potato, I guess. Kind of funny, but it took them a while, probably a minute or so. I got to thinking, I said, kamati? Like, yeah, that's it, you know, that's it. They were eating kamati leaves. I'm like, wow. Okay, never seen that, but maybe it's a great cure, maybe it's a great pulutan. I've never had it before. Anyway, that's what it was. So yeah, they use every part of the plant. They got the kamati here. Trying to get them cooked down a little bit. I am going to throw in, maybe the wrong thing, but I'm going to throw in just a little bit of water. Have a little bit of fresh water here from my coffee I made this morning. I'm going to turn up the heat. I'm going to get these commodities cooked down. That's what we say in America, cooked down. Now, I always encourage, and I know there's a couple of Filipinas that are subscribed to the channel. Catherine's with a Z, Catherine's vlog. She cooks. She does, and some of you Filipinos have got some pretty nice channels, and I'm gonna have to spend some time and go through some of the content that you've got, because I always like, you know, I know how to cook this. I know how to cook a lot of different things. I'm no expert, but You know, I know how to do it my way is my point. But I'd like to learn how to do it your way. So drop a comment in there, or if you have a video, I don't mind you dropping a link to one of your videos where you made corned beef hash or you make something else, you're sending out. If you have a cooking channel or that's part of your channel, like this is just part of my channel. I like to cook so much, that's part of me, that's who I am. So, and I may have put too much water. So yeah, drop a link down, drop a comment if you just want to comment, say, no, I don't put X in there, I put chilies in there, whatever it is, drop a comment down. And I mean, if you don't care, I mean, might share this video or another video that you really like. I've got one that's really got a great response of how I met my wife in the Philippines. And it's about a 28-minute story. And a lot of people really like that one. And one other video where we just got back here to our house in the Philippines after 3 years. Really happy in that video, and it's done really well. So, you know, if you don't mind, if you don't have to do what you want. You just want to watch it, great. I'm happy to have you here. Happy to get the views. But yeah, I'll be interested in any kind of tips on the cooking or anything else for that matter. I value other people's opinion. If you think you know it all, you're wrong. And so, yeah, just give me any kind of suggestion. If I'm talking about some other kind of crazy thing that happens to me through the week, you know, yeah, you got a comment on that? Drop a comment down below in the comments section. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't. You know, I am so humbled. Like, I've been doing this basically for 3 weeks to a month, but I didn't do it very seriously the first week. And I just topped 100 subscribers this morning. And that is, you know, of course I'm happy about that. Because a YouTuber, if they want to grow their channel, they know they got to get to 1,000 subscribers, correct? You know, you guys that have YouTube channels, you probably know this. And some of you girls, some of you ladies have, you know, 4,600. I looked at one this morning. And golly, I just need to write these people down so I can mention you. But yeah, so any tips you can give me, I appreciate it. But I'm so thankful for the people that comment. And if you comment on the video, you know I'm going to get back to you. So, because I try to, especially if I just see it come up on my phone, unless I'm in a taxi or, you know, I'm walking through town or something like that, I'm really going to try to get back with you. So, looks like the tomatoes are getting happy here. Yeah, I also crossed 200 hours of watch time. So you got to have, in order to be considered a full-fledged channel, once they call it AdSense, they'll put ads, they put ads in your video now, they just don't pay you for it. And even when they do start paying you for it, you know, if you have a channel, it's not much money. I'm not trying to survive on this channel. You know, I've owned 3 businesses, I still own one small business, and I just like the challenge, you know, it gives me something to do in retirement, and I enjoy doing it. I get a kick out of it. If you have a channel, tell me how you edit your videos. I'm using, I've got a MacBook Air, I think is what the laptop I have, and I'm using iMovie on MacBook Air. So, and I'm learning that editing system, iMovie. I got pretty decent at it on my phone, and that's good. You can do a lot, but there's just a few more features on MacBook than there are on your phone. The phone's great. I mean, you could have a YouTube channel strictly on your phone, and that's all I'm doing. Is I got an iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's you know, what is probably 2 or 3 generations old already. All right, in goes the delicious Pure Foods corned beef. Brought to you by the Philippines Project. All right. Maybe they'll sponsor this video. Who knows? Fat chance of that happening. Speaking of fat, look at there. Oh, it actually smells good. I couldn't smell it before. It come out of the can. You're not going to believe what I do with this stuff when I get it done. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to wait till the end of the video, and you're going to see it in the end. I don't know if you cook. I don't know how you are. But sometimes I'll think about it. I'll be laying in bed, maybe in the morning, maybe at night, trying to go to sleep, and I'll be thinking, man, I've got X and Y, Z in the refrigerator, whatever it is. I may have some potatoes. I may have avocados. You know, avocados are like a ticking time bomb. They're kind of like a banana. You know, they're gonna outlive their life expectancy if you don't use them. So especially avocados, you can't tell by looking at them from the outside actually what they're going to be until you open them up, right? So I'll be laying in bed at night or in the morning or just whatever I'm doing during the day. I'm like, yeah, I've got those avocados I got to use, and I have made some seriously killer guacamole here in the Philippines. I mean, you guys have the best avocados in the world. I'm finding out you guys have the best of a lot of stuff. But, man, if you want to eat fresh, if you want to get healthy, Philippines has some great vegetables. I'll turn that heat up to full blast, trying to get some of that water out of there. But I have literally been amazed by the fruits and vegetables selection here. The meat selection, you know, I'm going to say this. As an American, you might say, oh, the meat selection is not that great. Well, you got a lot of pork here, got a lot of chicken. Your chickens, I call them Filipino size because most Filipinos are smaller people, and the chickens match. So the chickens are really tiny. Back in America, and I'm not saying, well, back in America we have this. No, that's not what I'm saying. So back in America, they have whole restaurants dedicated just to chicken wings. And you know, one of my favorite places to go is Buffalo Wild Wings in the United States. They don't have the best wings in the world, but they have wings and they have beer. And, you know, they have sports on TV. And that's great, you know. But here, you couldn't make a meal out of 100 chicken wings here because there's just no meat on it. But having said that, you know, you got the meat selection here. Chickens are small. They're good tasting. But what I get out of it, though, these are not steroid-infused chickens over here. I don't know how organic they are, but they're not chemically enhanced like ours are. Now, those chickens, I'd hate to meet one of our chickens in a dark alley, man. They would mess you up. But these chickens here are actual size chickens. Then they got, you Filipinos, have you, they've got a term here called native chicken, right? I don't know if you ever heard of that. They have one, since I've been here this time, I hear the word native chicken bandied about, you know. Oh, this is a native chicken in this soup. So you pay more pesos for that. I'm sure that's what that means. Native equals more cash, more pesos. But yeah, so back to meat selection. I mean, you can't go and get hamburger meat every time you go to the store. But you can't get big ribeye steaks. This is getting harder and harder to get in America. But I will say this for the meat selection and the vegetable selection, it almost forces a guy like me to eat better. And here's how. Because they don't have the big, readily available meat selection that we have, it's harder to get. Therefore, I've turned to fish in a lot of meals. And everything I cook is on the grill. I haven't used any canola oil or any vegetable oil since I've been here. I use a little bit of olive oil. And I try to stay away from the oil because that product is just not good. And I understand why a lot of people use it here. It's cheap. You know, you go to buy olive oil here. I've got a little bottle. I'll show you. It's imported. This Bertolli, this is a big bottle. It's a full liter, 1.5 liters. But that thing is like 20 bucks. It's like 1,000 pesos. So I know your average Filipino is not going to be able to buy that, and I understand that. So you use what you got, use what you can afford. I mean, that's all I do. I can afford it, so I'm not trying to brag. I can afford olive oil, but it's just different if you're Filipino, you live here, and the pay is just not great here. It's not as good as it is in any Western country or a lot of other countries. You make more in Singapore, you make more in Hong Kong. I sure wish that stuff would boil out of here. There's my water that I poured in, right? Some Filipinos probably out there, don't put water in there, it's going to be watery enough. Well, I'm going to stop the video for a second, and I'm going to get this water out of there. Okay, so I almost made a tragic mistake. Luckily, my wife came in, and I told her about my dilemma. I already had the strainer in hand almost, and she said, "Oh no, don't! I want that. I want the water." She said, "That's why I make corned beef hash. I want it for the rice." So all you Filipinos are in unison, said, "Yes, that's what we want." So anyway, we took off the some of the corned beef hash, most of the water. Filipinos are all about the sabaw, diba? All about the sabaw. So anyway, I think I'm done here. I think my work is done here. So I'm going to get this out. I'm going to make a couple eggs, and I'm going to get to eating breakfast. Life is all about contradictions. I'm going to pour some, after I give you the big speech, I'm pouring some canola oil in to cook my eggs.
I'm gonna ask Jenny.
I heat up my oil, and here's the reason why. There's a reason. We can always rationalize anything, right? But these eggs, the eggs I've been buying, for some reason, they want to break the yolks every time. So, and I don't like that. I don't like my yolk to be cooked. So, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned Filipino way. It's called sunny side up. Basically, what do we call it at home? That might be it. Maybe sunny side up. I don't know. But basically, I'm not going to turn these eggs, but I'm going to take the oil. I'm going to throw it over the top. It'll slap your mama. I'm going to put the oil over the top and cook the eggs on one side. I did this yesterday with olive oil. You just get into too much money with olive oil. But, so yeah, it worked out pretty good. I actually did a trial run on my cheese pandesal breakfast sandwich yesterday. Check my flame. Come on, flame. Give me a break. All right. My mother-in-law used to do this all the time. I'm like, my gosh, Nana, you're using too much oil. Using too much oil. Look at that. Look how that just coated that egg so nicely. And not stuck. Not plasticky. I hate plasticky eggs, but you guys don't. One of you ladies told me to just flip the egg faster. And I get that. I appreciate the comment. I do. I'm pretty good at turning eggs for some reason. These ones I'm buying, maybe they're poor nutrition or something. Man, you try to do anything to them, they break. Sometimes they don't, without turning, they don't survive. I call that over medium. But that right there is a beautiful egg. Now I'm gonna put them on paper towel. I'm gonna get some of that oil off. As oil is not a natural product at all. But here I am bashing vegetable oil, and I'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings and eat deep fried chicken wings, not think a thing about it. So, or deep fried potato wedges. But again, here in the Philippines, not eating stuff like that. I've dropped probably 20 points on my blood pressure. My blood pressure, I still take a pill, but my blood pressure is normal from eating all the fruits and vegetables. Almost every day I drink buko juice, fresh buko juice, coconut juice from the market. I watch them pour it right out of the coconut, right into the bag. Take 2 of them 30 peso worth bags home, put them in the refrigerator and wait. Man, you get good and thirsty and hungry. You take that fresh buko juice, just sit down and drink you a big glass of that. And I'm telling you what, you can almost feel your blood pressure lowering. And I'm not a medical doctor, but not giving medical advice. But I know how I feel when I get done drinking that stuff. It's amazing. I'm gonna let these cook just a little bit more. I know they're soft on top. I'm watching them. I may even throw a little more oil on them. Here in the Philippines, have you had rain? Drop your answer down in the comment. It's supposed to be rainy season, but we had about a week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we had 3.5 days of nothing but just straight pour down rain. Not storms really, no typhoon, but when Leyte and Mindanao had the bad typhoon, we got a lot of rain up here, just north of that area. So, but it's supposed to be rainy season. I love the rainy season here. Uh-oh, did I make a mistake? You gotta straighten up and fly right. There we go. Okay, I think I've got it. All right. I'm gonna let them set for a little bit. I'm gonna move on, and we're gonna sit it down at the table, and we're gonna assemble this and eat it and try it out and see what it's like. Okay, so I'm back. I've got my cheese panda sauce. I reach over here, and Angelina, I was right. Angelina Bakeries. It says more toppings than ever, whatever that means. Storage tips, nutrition facts, doesn't say. I'm looking for an address. I guess it doesn't matter, but I know it's made in Iloilo City, okay? It's on Isnart Street. I don't know why I remember that, but kind of hard to forget. Isnart Street, that's a cool street. So I bought them and I cut it in half. Used my superior culinary skills to cut these perfectly in half. Joking about that. So here goes. I'm gonna try to get as dry as I can get here. A little bit of corned beef hash. Buddy, you're gonna have to go with the flow there. There we go. A little bit more. Make sure it's not too liquidy. That's why I was trying to get it dry. Just push it to the edge. You want that mystery meat deliciousness as good as, good as you can get it. I'm gonna go ahead and make 2. My wife is making a surprise cameo on the channel. She's doing the video work. So you can give my wife Laura a shout out if you'd like to. Say hi in the comments section. She'll be on here one of these days. You know how it is. Okay, so I made my eggs sunny side up, I guess. I think they're perfect, but doesn't matter what I think. I'm gonna have to put it to the test. All right, there we go. Dry my hand off a little bit. Put their little hats on there. I'm gonna save one. I'm gonna take one of them and set it off. That'll be for the love of my life there, holding the camera. Okay, here's what I want to see. See how good it is. I think it's going to be really, these are really sweet if you've never had one. And actually they're sticky. They kind of get your hands sticky, but you can put anything on them. You can eat them with coffee just like they are. Angelina Bakery in Iloilo City, probably distributed nationwide. I don't know. Iloilo's got a lot of good bakers here.
But you could buy them at Pure Gold. So.
Yeah, that's really good, but yeah, I didn't really get into the egg yolk, and that's my true test. I'm kind of afraid that I did not hit the perfect egg yolk. Left it in the pan just a little bit too. Okay, so kind of had an abrupt ending to that video, but the breakfast was actually, it was really good. Thanks to Angelina's Bake Shop or Bakery in Iloilo. There's just a lot of flavor to those cheese pan de salt. And I don't really know why they say cheese. I didn't taste any cheese. But that's beside the fact, because they were just infused with sweet deliciousness and stickiness and you know, I know how people in the Philippines like sweet stuff, and yeah, it's going to serve that purpose. But it was a great little sandwich. Just something really satisfying about it. This video went way long, 52 minutes, but hey guys, if you made it this long, you're a superhero, and I hope all your dreams will come true. Anyway, have a great day.